Hello world. How's everybody doing? Let's see here. I see you. Hello guys. Hello vintage. I'm here. I'm having my granddaughter's so listening. Hey vintage. How are you, dear? Trying to get everything. Ooh, I got these filters things on the side of here. I don't know how to get them off. I'm still new to this streaming thing and I pray to God it goes good today. Let me see if I can kind of take those overlays off. Probably not. Oh, I'm taking that off. Okay. I'm just going to leave them there because otherwise I'll screw up the whole chat. Everybody good? Hey Tanya from Kentucky, just a state over. Kim in Dallas, you got to take me to the church. Oh, and are you talking about the one in the one in Texas? Yeah. Yeah. So let's first of all, I just want to say to Kim that her little bulldog passed away last night, and it was very unexpected. And obviously she's heartbroken over this. So we are definitely praying for Kim and her family, along with sending her prayers. So yeah, it's terrible. These dogs and cats and animals that we get attached to. Yeah, Hopi. They become family. They really do become family. And when we lose them, our hearts just broke. So, what is it? I see. Hopi, hey, oh, hey, I get you. So, did you guys see Princess earlier with shaving the beard? That was something, wasn't it? That was really something. So, today what we're going to talk about, where do you send the tips for the Summer Wells case? You call, I think it's 1-800-CALL-TBI. Something to that effect. He did. I actually did a before and after, and I sent it to Marissa. I hope she shares it to you guys. Like I screenshot like when he first walked in, and then when after he got shaved. Hey Heidi. Heidi's on her way to Florida for a little R&R. Hopefully there. Okay, so what's wrong with my desktop? Okay. Whose camera's not working, Little Texas? Oh, you just entered Florida. Okay. All right, so today, guys, we are going to be talking about a woman from Texas. Her name is Terry Leanne Beavers, but everyone called her Missy Beavers. And here, I'll show you some. No, that's not it. Let me just... Okay. So this is Missy's family. Missy was just a great person. She really was. She was married to a gentleman named Brandon Beavers, and they had a great family. They truly had it all. Um, the Beavers, they had 3 girls. They had nice cars, beautiful homes. Misty loved and lived for her children, as most of us do. But as the kids started to get older, like so many mothers and parents, specifically women though, she wanted to do more, self-fulfillment. She really did put her career on hold, to let the children, to be with a stay-at-home mom with her kids. And as the children started to get a little older, that's when Missy uh, got into her passion, which was fitness. She took great care of her own self. And, after giving birth to 3 kids and plus the aging process, Missy loved to see transformations of herself and of her clients. And there were several, um, you know, uh, students, I guess you would say, that talk so highly of Missy. Um, Missy was highly motivational. She was not only with speaking or exercise, but it was almost like a boot camp she ran. It was a no excuse, uh, find the motivation, let's lose it and do it kind of vibe. It was kind of like a gladiator boot camp style. So, she just really enjoyed life, and I really feel like whenever you after your kids start getting a little bit grown, uh or even after they're out of the house, like when you're in your 40s and 50s, that's when you kind of start really realizing time is ticking, and you got to find your vibe, so to fill your own passions while you can, while you're still able to. So, Missy ran an exercise class at her church, which was, let me see if I can, which was this place. Um, and normally it was ran outside the church, um, but it was very early in the morning. Missy would go to bed early. She would get up early as well. That night, um, before she passed, um, she she wrote on her Facebook, "If it's raining, we're still training," um, which I'll show you guys here if I can find it. If it's raining, we're still training. No excuses. You are gladiators, she says. So, that night she wrote this because it was supposed to rain a lot the next day. They normally held it outside at 5 a.m. in the morning. But this particular morning, it was going to be inside due to the rain. And I think this was ultimately not knowing that there is a killer stalking your Facebook and keeping their eye on you. So, bear with me as I pull something up. So, if you guys have never seen the footage of the killer, because we actually have him on camera, I'll show this to you guys shortly. But Missy was a 45-year-old woman, and I'm sure you guys have seen the footage. Most people in the true crime have. But in the pre-dawn hours of April 18th, 2016, surveillance video from inside the Creek Church of Christ in Midlothian, Texas, a very, very small town, caught the images of a person in a person clad in police-type tactical clothing, wandering around the building, looking inside rooms, carrying what appeared to be a hammer or a crowbar. The individual had a very distinctive gait, and a gait is, it's a type of walk. We all have our own distinctive the way we walk, but this murderer who, I can't, let me see if I can. There is the way the murderer, oh, you haven't seen any of this, Heather. He or she had a very distinctive walk, right? So, yeah. Let me see here. Many have wondered whether the person in the video may even be a woman due to the way that they walked. I personally do not feel like this is a woman. I personally feel like this is a male, but that's my personal opinion. But whoever it was in the video is believed to be the same person that killed Missy Beavers, yet 6 years later, nearly, the person has still not been identified and the case is still unsolved. So, Jacksonboro native Terry Missy Beavers, she was an instructional fitness movement called Camp Gladiators. She went to this camp every year, and you did have to pay for it, but it was like a boot camp. It really was kind of gladiator style. But Brandon and Missy, they got married in June of 1998. Missy had went back to school, and she started working as a teacher assistant. She later took a job working in special education. After the couple's children were born, Missy switched careers and became a fitness instructor, but for so many years she was a stay-at-home mom. Brandon and Missy were people of great faith. Later, Brandon would say that after his wife had passed, that he named her as a, quote, godly woman. But they were human, and they did have struggles in their marriage, just as any marriage does if you're married long enough. There's trials, tribulations in every marriage, every relationship for that matter. Their marriage was in trouble, and so were their finances. Um, and it was reported that Missy had been having an affair or even affairs. But it was also rumored that Brandon allegedly had affairs as well. So, April 18th, 2016, in the early morning hours, Missy awoke to raindrops hitting her bedroom window. That day, 5 a.m. class would be moved to inside. Fortunately, the previous night, Missy took to the Facebook telling her students, if it's raining, we're still training. And I showed you guys the photo to that. As Missy got ready for her day, she had no idea that in the church, the most place where you should be safe, you would think, right? A church. That's not a place where murders normally happen. But as she was getting ready for her day, Satan was already in the church waiting for her. So Missy got there at approximately 4:45 in the morning. Sorry, I'm getting my timelines mixed up. Missy arrives at 4:15 at the church for her 5 a.m. class. She arrives early to set everything up. Typically, her classes were held outdoors, as I told you, but it was raining. So let me find my spot. The killer had been at the church, broke in the door in the kitchen since 3 a.m. They broke a little window on the outside of the church door to where they could reach their hands and get their hands through to open the door. But just to be on the safe side, the killer broke out a couple of windows higher in the kitchen and went into the woods for a bit to see if the police would show up. The killer wanted to see if there was any sensors that would be tripped by breaking the window. Apparently, there was no sensors. After the killer felt safe, the killer made its way inside. He or she would vandalize different parts of the church with a crowbar type device. It never really looked like the killer was after anything in particular. As you can see, he or she just casually, nonchalantly, in no big hurry at all. I mean, for someone to break in a building, you don't normally stay anywhere for 2 hours, wouldn't you agree? So the killer was just, you know, he or she would knock uh, holes in the wall randomly, and so sorry, I got something. 1 second. Sorry about that. So Cody, you think the killer was a woman? Interesting. I think the killer is a man. And personally, the reason I think the killer is a man is because A, women don't generally kill with something like a direct women usually kill with guns or something. They don't normally kill with Missy. Yes, Lori, he certainly did. They don't normally kill with something like a crowbar or a screwdriver. And I'm going to show you guys this gentleman's gait, or hers, him or hers. We don't know still to this day. But bear with me. But Missy was murdered. She arrived at 4:15, and the class showed up at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. So usually when someone is murdered, they don't generally, you don't normally find the victim within 45 minutes at the very, very max. So they found her very quickly. So what happened was there was a more or less a new person who showed up early that morning, who was part of her class, but the person didn't know. The attendee showed up at 4:45. So Missy parked under the carport of the church, and then the attendee was, under the carport there waiting for the doors to be open. The attendee thought the doors had to be opened, but that wasn't true. And 5 o'clock showed up when another attendee came there. All you had to do was press a button on the side to open the door. So that is when them along with I think it was four other attendees, found Missy, her body in the room with at least one of the items that this killer in the photo had, the picture, laying in glass, dead, due to puncture wounds. That is the reason Missy died. It was just to do with, the autopsy said puncture wounds, not stab wounds. They're very specific. A stab is a knife, but a puncture would be something like a hammer, a crowbar, a screwdriver. God bless this woman. So I want to show you that night. It was raining heavily. It was like anything that could go wrong, in my opinion, went wrong. And the reason is Missy, hold on, let me pull this up. I'm sorry. I'm trying to show you guys the video of this. Missy was there alone. Yeah, it could have been an ice pick. But yes, so Missy's husband, Brandon, he was allegedly at on a fishing trip. He had gotten there the day before in Mississippi. And the night before, yes, they did. The night before Missy was to die, Brandon called Missy at about 9 o'clock. He said his flight was late and it was late getting back to, I guess, wherever he was staying. He said he called Missy around 9 or 9:30, and Missy answered the phone, but she was halfway asleep. She gets up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And he told her he loved her, and that was the last time he spoke to her. I say it's the husband, financial gain. of a life insurance or something Scott Peterson was on a fishing trip to. Now, the thing about it is they've never said Brandon was clear, but they said he is not on their radar of either having Missy murdered or doing the murder himself. So, but they have also said that they will not rule anyone out until they know for sure. So, I'm going to show you a photo of the killer walking down the hallway, casually just moving around, acting as if they're waiting for something or someone. And in my opinion, they're waiting for Missy. Somebody that breaks in doesn't stay 2 hours. It doesn't happen. Usually you want to get in there and get out if you're just going to rob a place, and also Missy still had her rings left on her when she was found, and there was nothing at all taken from the church that they know of. Now, Missy's father-in-law, yes, he has came under suspect. He allegedly has been, from what I understand, has been cleared. He had an alibi, but he was allegedly, I believe, in California. And there was people around him golfing, I want to say. But after the murder took place, Brandon, he had drove back from Mississippi in his car. So, let me find this. So, across the street, this is not a big town. This is a very small little area. Across the street, there was a 2010 to 2012. It looked to be silver, but because, look, you can see the rain you can see how hard it's raining. But it appeared to be a silver Nissan Altima. Made a few trips along the parking lot, would slow down and then start back, and it just made a couple trips around the parking lot, and then it goes out here to the parking lot and then turns its blinker on and heads right, which I don't know why anybody turns their blinker on at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when you're in a parking lot, but that's just me. Maybe it's just habit, I don't know. But which is heading toward the church. Let me see if I can find that. Okay. So here we have the here you have the outdoor area where the Nissan Altima was shown, right? Right here. And here is the church. And this was the only person, this is the only area that surveillance was, that anything picked up in this area around the time of the murders. There was no other cars, no other anything. They have never still been able to locate the what's wrong with Heather? They have still never able to locate this car. The license plate that showed up on the license plate that showed up on the cameras, it was so reflective because of the rain that they couldn't even get the license plate. All we know is what kind of car it was and that it was in the parking lot at the outdoors location, and then that was it. That's all they have as far as any other car going up and down through here at the time. So going back to the father-in-law, first I'll show you the surveillance to the I'll show you the surveillance to the killer. Maybe. Bear with me just 1 second. I should have done this in StreamYards because which one is it? I just had it pulled up. I hope I didn't close it. I'm just going to pull it up this way. Okay, here we go. I guess I need to shut my window because there's some dummy. It's so nice here today. Oh, let me tell you something, Heather. My son gets nosebleeds all the time. He picks his nose. I put tampons in his nose before. One time he picked his nose and he was coming out of school, and I told the teachers to do that, and he came out of the school with a tampon in his nose. That's crazy. I'm sorry, guys. My computer is just trying to freeze up. Okay. Please, Lord, make it work. Jesus Christ. Screen. I don't know. Okay, finally. Jesus. Oh my God. Why is things complicated? Share. Someone's beeping like. Can you guys hear that? Guys, I'm gonna have to come back. My computer's, but something's going on outside and I don't know. I need to check because there's just endless beeping outside. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on.